I'm Monica Link, and this is New York City Wired. I'm back for another episode of New York City Wired. I'm in front of Trump Tower for a special election edition. This episode, we're going to have all the news, the updates, and the states, and how we got here in such a undecided race. Voters cast their ballots by absentee, early voting, and in person to determine who will be the next president of the United States. That race has become very close, with many states unable to be determined early, and every ballot will be counted.
Former Vice President Joe Biden wins Arizona, which is the first time that a Democratic candidate has won Arizona since 1996.
I have our special guest host and friend to the show, Stephanie Brownridge. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So we are discussing what's happening in New York City with the most historic election in our lifetime. We all thought we would never live to see this, but here the day has come. There is no winner. It is Wednesday, the day after the election. And we're still trying to figure this thing out. The states are all tossed up. And Stephanie, you have some stats on New York City. Like, this was the most historic turnout in the city. De Blasio commented on it, and we're going to cut to some of his comments in a minute. But Stephanie, what was happening with de Blasio?
So de Blasio said that there were 1.2 million voters in person yesterday voting on actual election day, and that there's still hundreds of thousands of ballots being counted for, but it's the highest turnout that New York City has ever seen.
See, that is just amazing. That's just like the American spirit coming alive. Everybody voting red and blue. In the city, it was very friendly. I talked to some people on the street. They're not featured on camera, but they definitely were very optimistic. Both sides have a lot at stake. This has been a global pandemic, and what we're seeing is some of the states with historic numbers. We're going to show you guys in a minute, but how shocked are you with the situation? Stephanie represents new graduates who have a big stake in what happens right now with the job market, the economy, the pandemic. There was a lot of missed graduations, and so what happened? What do you think, like, how does it affect your generation specifically, Stephanie, new graduates and people who are just coming into the workforce? What do you think is at stake in this election?
I believe that a lot of the younger generation is coming out and stepping up and actually voting, some for the first time, because back in 2016, a lot of us were able to vote, but a lot of us were not voting at that time. And so now I think that everyone feels like it is their civic duty to come out and actually vote and have a voice and be able to be a part of this democratic election.
That's amazing. So, all right, we're going to cut to some more footage, and then we'll be back.
This election, here's what we do know for sure. The results are going to have a huge impact on New York either way. We don't know what's going to happen yet with the presidency. We do know more fundamentally that the decisions that will be made by the next Congress, the next president, will define the future of New York City. And it's really the basics. We need a strong stimulus to get us back on our feet. The whole country needs it. That's going to hang the balance of the presidential election and the votes for Senate.
New Yorkers cast their ballots and took to the street to protest issues they care about.
What's that? Like that. What's that? Like that.
Michigan sets new voter turnout record with over 5.1 million voters.
Wow, that is really amazing. So just a little background, my home city of Detroit, where I grew up, my home state of Michigan, which has a lot of like red and blue. So I am so proud of the people of Detroit. They really showed up. Traditionally, Detroit, sometimes voting is a little bit, back and forth. During the Barack Obama campaign, we saw historic numbers come out of Detroit, but I'm so proud to see people really just like stepping up and voting in that area. And then there were some other states that had really high voter turnouts, like just amazing, mind-blowing. I think Wisconsin was like one of them.
Yes, it was. And New York City was also a big one. And everybody's been taking the safest precautions during the pandemic, doing a lot of mail-in ballots. Some people did go and vote in person in a lot of states, but they still are taking the most precautions, wearing their masks, social distancing, doing everything that they can to still do their civic duty and step up.
Yeah, and then we had like some big news out of New Jersey. Marijuana became legal in New Jersey, and as a matter of fact, your home state.
Yes.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah, it was. I know that a lot of people voted for it to happen. They want it to affect the economy, and they've been waiting for this to happen. It happened in Colorado, and so far it's been a really good turnout for other states legalizing it. So I think New Jersey was just ready to get on board with it.
For more information about New York City Wired, check us out at newyorkcitywire.com.